Hello, hello. What's up, people? Hello. How y'all doing? Doing good? Say hello in the chat if you're out there. What's up, people? What up, what up? Hello, what's up? Katrin, Itmations, Bo, Bjuvik. What's up, people? Andor, Gary, what up? You all got some energy for the sculpting stream? Let's get hyped for it. Okay. So, for the people that are new here, my name is Onua, and I'll be your instructor today. Let me turn down the music a little bit so you guys can hear me. So, this will be like a live instruction session. So, pretty much, whatever kind of questions you want, you can ask them. That's what I'm here for. Today we'll be taking you through sculpting in Blender, and I'll be going through the very basics of using the software for the people that are completely new. And for the people that are a little bit more used to it, you know, feel free to move along. You don't have to follow my lesson one by one. That's just what we're doing today, you know, teaching everybody and trying to do something together as a little community, all making our sculpts, and we can share them at the end. So it'll be 1.5 hours of me sort of going through my work process and explaining stuff and answering questions. And don't feel scared or don't hold back with the questions, because usually with these streams, if you have a question, there's probably a couple other people that have the same question, so always feel free to ask. And so from here on out, I'll kind of start going through, but before I do that, I'd like to ask you all some questions. So, have you guys used Blender before? Have you sculpted in Blender before? Like, what kind of stuff, like, where are you guys coming from, you know? If you want to share something about yourselves, feel free to do that in the chat, and it'll kind of help me gauge how I should go on with the stream, you know? So, let me know. Hold up, and while you guys are typing, if you are, I'll start showing stuff on the screen. There we go. Yeah. So let me know if you've used Blender before or if you're completely new. If you're completely new, then I'll sort of make sure that I catch you up to everything, you know, and not lose anyone. If I explain something too fast as well, let me know. So, it's a little sneak peek at the concept for today. I really like the way we did the creature. Okay, we got never sculpted in Blender. Did do some blockouts though. Okay, great. Used it for animations and the previous modeling classes here, but never tried sculpting. Hello, new here and first time to Blender. Okay, great. This is all perfect for all those responses. So I'll take you through the very basics of it. So no need to worry, even if you've never touched the software before. So 3D sculpting, right? Great for making organic shapes, and that's what we're going to be trying to do. So some of these are by a great artist called Shulong, I believe. We're going to be making a little creature, and you can do whatever it is that you feel like. You can do the exact same as what I'm doing, but the goal of the stream is for you all to have your own little creature. So you can go super simple like this thing, or you can go a little bit more ambitious like these kind of things. We can do it all, and then hopefully we'll have time to put some color on our sculpts. Vote is for the penguin. The penguin is really cute, but you know, feel free to do whatever it is that you guys feel like. You know, you can look up porcelain animal in Google too and find some concept of your own too. It's not super locked in. Okay, so for the people that have been doing modeling and just coming into Blender sculpting, and you might be asking yourself, okay, what is the difference between modeling and sculpting? So the purpose of sculpting in 3D is kind of to, shape our 3D model into something more organic, stuff that would be really difficult to sit there and poly model, right? And that's kind of like the base of it all. Like that is the purpose of why we're doing this kind of workflow instead of just modeling out everything. Okay. So the people that have been doing modeling before, you might be used to the UI and stuff already, but for the people that are new, what's up, Clarissa? So middle mouse to rotate around your viewport. This is where everything you do in your 3D software is kind of gonna be visible to you. So it's basically our scene. You can look at it that way. And you can rotate around the scene. Right now we just have a cube inside. Middle mouse to rotate around it, to orbit. And you can see I have the little icon down here to show you. Then shift plus middle mouse to pan around. You can use those in combination with each other to move around the UI. Okay, and then you can scroll in and out on your scroll wheel. Very basics. Okay. So you have a couple different things in your UI just to get you started, just to get you a little bit familiar. This is your viewport, everything happens here. On the right side you have your outliner, which is where you select different stuff in your scene. So if I left click on this cube, you can see it's highlighted out in the outliner. Left click on the camera, it's highlighted, light is highlighted. Okay, so if you ever get lost and you need to click something, you can just click it out in the outliner as well. Okay, if you get lost with the camera settings, you can press the home button to come back, so you never get lost. And you know, if there's something that I do forget about the base use of Blender, do ask questions in the chat and I'll go through stuff. For today we will be using these basic moving tools out here on the left. So you can click G to grab. So G to go to the grab tool, or you can click out here and you can move stuff around. So we'll end up putting a bunch of little pieces of clay and we can sort of move them around and deform them as we want. And there's some other ones you can rotate out here, or you can scale. So R to rotate, S to scale, G to grab. And this might be going a little bit too fast, but I'll be going deeper into all of this in the modeling stream, which will be next. But today it's just about sculpting, so we won't be doing too many of those kind of tools here. We just do basic like clay tools. So for the sculpting, we gotta go into this tab up here. You have a bunch of different tabs because Blender is used for a lot of different things. And we can go into sculpting right here. Okay. So I'll be using a tablet. Tablet is kind of nice for sculpting because you get all the pressure sensitivity that you want. So there's something to understand about 3D sculpting. Let me find a good way to show it. We need to have a surface to deform or stuff is not gonna work. So in traditional modeling, you can pull out these corners and make a shape, you know. So you can edit the mesh kind of like this and make a shape, and that's all fine and good. But when you start sculpting, it's not gonna work because you don't have enough corners to deform. And basically all we're doing when we're sculpting is we're moving these points around, but we're doing them in mass, okay? So we can actually go in and you can see we can select these corners and move them around with our sculpting tools too. So I just selected a brush here called the grab brush. Okay. So we don't have enough points. So it comes with a handy tool called remesh, which we kind of need to, and don't worry, like I'll have to go over this technical stuff a little bit in the beginning, but it'll soon be over and you guys will have like a base understanding, which is good, and you can kind of go from there. So if you remesh, you can kind of see, if we go back to the layout, that we have a lot more points, okay? A lot more points to deform on. And so when we start sculpting, we can move stuff around and it'll be kind of more of a smooth sort of surface. So if we use a different title brush, the draw brush, you can see that we can actually start drawing on our mesh. And that is what's so amazing about 3D sculpting. Like, just doing this kind of basic shapes would be very difficult to do with polymodeling. Okay. So this looks a little bit jagged, right? And we don't really want that. So we can go ahead and we can remesh it to a lower number. So you can type in here, but you gotta be careful so you don't burn your PC, right? So I'll do like 0.04. Let's try that. And then we get a little bit more definition. And if we want to, we can go even lower. So let's try 0.01. Whoop. Now if we go look at the mesh, ooh, it's super dense, right? But that works well for sculpting sometimes. So we have all these different brushes on the left side. You can click F to make them smaller or bigger. The first brush is just called the draw brush, and it's very simple. Well, it just draws on your mesh, right? Okay, so hold up, let me make it so you can actually see my... There we go, okay. So you can draw on your mesh, simply. And it's the same, right? So you just left click with any of the brushes you select out there. There's a bunch of different options. But they all sort of come with some of the same hotkeys. So if you have a jagged edge like this, you can select any brush. And if you hold down shift while left clicking over your surface, you can smooth it out. So that comes in handy very often. So you can smooth out any surface. So you get this kind of jagged look because we used to have a very low poly mesh. And now we can smooth it out. And I will say it does help to have taken the modeling class to kind of understand a little bit more about these things, but it's completely fine as well if you've never done it, because some of this might be a little bit intuitive. Okay, so left click to draw on our mesh, and then if we want to remove clay, we can hold down Control. So you see how it did the opposite, and you can do that with all the brushes, I think, pretty much. Just hold down Control to do the opposite. So if we wanted to make some kind of fold here or something, we can go in and then Control to take away, and then just left click to add. And then we have this kind of valley here, and you can start getting shapes that you want. Okay, so Control to take away, whoop, and then you can smooth it out if you want to with shift. And it's really not more complicated than that, right? So sculpting is it can be technical, but most of the time it's definitely one of the more artistic things in 3D. So it's sort of just about, well, do you know what the shape is supposed to look like? And here's these basic tools, now go make that shape, right? And you can kind of get used to these tools while I talk. Just get used to like moving around. And if you're using a tablet like I am, you can use the little button on your pen that will act as a middle mouse, and then you can just shift middle mouse around. Okay. And then Control middle mouse to zoom out. Is like the basics of how to, like, are people able to get sort of what I'm saying here? Is it making sense to you all? It's really not much more complicated than this, right? So if we wanted to make this into Well, a creature of sorts would have to go in and destroy all the detail we have by picking a higher voxel size. Okay, and now we can sort of smooth it out. And then we can use the grab brush, and then we can morph it into the type of shape that we want. Okay, we can go even lower. So this will be the basics of how we work. We just make like a base shape. So I don't know, if we want to make the penguin, we're gonna have to make sort of like a little fat lump shape. And then we can, for example, use another brush in our tool belt called the inflate one. And you can just inflate it at the bottom, smooth it at the top, maybe move it around a little bit. And then you end up, after you made a base shape, and you guys are not supposed to follow, you can do your own thing right now. This is just to sort of explain what we're going to be doing once I pull up the reference of a little animal or something like that. But now you can go in, you can smooth it, and then you can start adding your little details, like a mouth and some eyes. And then we can add the little fins. There is a better way of adding those, but we'll be going over that. We add those, and then on the other side, and we get this absolutely deformed penguin. But, you know, it's just to kind of show. Okay. So how are we gonna go from this creature to like something a bit more cute? That's the real challenge of today's stream, and I'll be taking you through all those steps. It's basically about doing what I just did, but doing it more carefully and doing it more times. Okay, so anyone got votes other than the penguin? I'm kind of feeling this mouse a little bit too though. Rabbit is really cute, the goat is cute too. I think I'll go for the mouse here. I kind of do like that one. If you guys... Okay, so we can start off by left clicking our little guy here and then just straight up deleting it. And now we're gonna add a sphere to start off with. So add mesh sphere. So you can go back and forth in these tabs. You can also right click it and shade smooth and you get like a smoother finish. So go to layout, add mesh sphere, or shift A to do the fast one. Did I lose people? People are not so active in the chat. Let me know how it is. Did I go too fast? Is it too complicated? Is there a step you got like hooked, like stuck on or something like that? Let me know. I'll totally go over stuff again. You know, this stream is for you all. It's not for me to just sit here and do something. It's for me to explain stuff to you all. So feel free to ask me questions and all that. Okay, so basically we can look at this guy here and we can think about what are the biggest shapes that we can start with. So kind of like I just showed where we go from a low res mesh to a high mesh res and add the details. We're also gonna do the whole thing, the same process for the whole. Just kind of fun getting used to the tableau. Brilliant. Okay, great. So yeah, Okay, I'm happy it's making sense. So this is really important for everybody. If you're gonna learn something from this screen, it's definitely this. So for a sculpture, it's really useful to go from the very big shapes to the smaller ones, right? And it's the same with the detail. You add the big part of the detail and then you go lower and lower and more detailed. So if we look at this here, what are the biggest shapes that we can find? And then we start with those and then we add all the small shapes on top of that. Okay, glad to hear it, people. Okay, I'm happy that you're following along. That's the point of this, right? Don't hold back with the questions. So if we look at this, maybe you all can see, you could guess what the biggest shapes are, right? So you can see some stuff is lying on top of other stuff, right? So this tail is lying on top of a bigger shape. This leg is attached to a bigger shape. Eyes are on top of the head, right? The ears are on top of the head. So you could argue that the body here is the biggest shape and then the head is attached to the body. So I'll say we should start with the head and the body together. Like those make up the main sort of volumes that we're working with. So we can left click our sphere here, maybe move it up a little bit, and then Shift D to duplicate it. Shift D. You can also, if you're more used to it, Control C, Control V. It's another way of doing it. So what we're looking at here are two spheres, but we're gonna try to morph it into these bigger shapes that we see. And it doesn't have to be perfect right away. It just has to, we have to get the stuff in the right place to build on it. So we're basically making sort of the scaffolding for the whole process at this point. I hope that's not becoming too abstract or something. It is not meant to be abstract, it's meant to be like just a very sort of functional principle. Okay. So if we go ahead here, oops. So right now I'm on the body here and I actually wanted to work on the head. So I need to go back into layout, it's the easiest way, and then left click the top, and now you can sculpt on that one. So we have different models now that we're sculpting on, and those models don't interact with each other. Okay. If we wanted that, we can, I believe, shift click. Okay, we can't do that. That's fine. Why can we not do that? Anyways, these models are not interacting with each other, so you select the model that you want to work on, and then you can go into sculpting. And then later, if we want to, we can sort of merge them together and smash them like clay, you know, like put them together. Okay, so the head is looking easier than the body. The head is just like sort of so you see already we're getting these weird artifacts because we are maybe already a little bit too low poly. So we can remesh it here. Okay, and all we want is this snout here for the little mouse. So you can start out by dragging that. And here is where it's useful to have done some kind of art before, because then you'll know what to look for, like how to get that shape that you see in the image and all that. But if you haven't, that's okay. So I'm just going around and trying to get like a little snout on our dude. Okay, just making sure I keep the head very round. Keep the proportions about what it is there. Okay, and now without lingering too much on this, we can go back and start editing a body so we can see it as a total, right? So we can go into layout. If we want this to be more straight, we can rotate it or whatever, that's fine. Select our body, back into sculpting mode. And now we can make this sort of lazy bean shape. If we want to, we can also add a plane, right? So we can sort of see where the floor is if we want to. I think we can also show it. Yeah, you can show the floor in here too if you feel like it. But I think honestly I would rather just make a plane. So add mesh plane, and you can click S to scale that up. So let's try to make a bean shape that feels like it's sitting on this plane. Okay, so very simply, nothing technical about it, we just push clay around. Okay. So what are we looking for? This kind of hunched back. And you know, if you feel confident, feel free to definitely, like, if you find a concept that you enjoy or whatever, you can always go do that as well. So what I'm using now is just a grab brush. It's super simple. You know, you can really get a lot done with that. Because right now it's not really about the detail, it's just about getting the right placement of stuff. And really that is, you'd be surprised how much, I mean, even if art in general is about that, right? Like if you get the right placement of stuff, get it to feel right, then all the detail is just extra. Okay. Now we can go in with a brush maybe. We can remesh it. Oop. Then we can make a little belly on him. Smooth stuff out. Okay, we can go back into layout if we want. Now we can move the head. So we can use the move tool if we want to. Maybe re-rotate it a little bit like it is. Okay, so we have something, right? There's definitely many things that could be improved about it already, but let's say this is sort of the shape that we want to go for. Okay, it's feeling a little bit square right now instead of very round, which I'm not a big fan of. You know, while sculpting, a lot of your time can definitely, and honestly should, go with getting that shape right. So it almost feels a bit like a water balloon, you know? When you place a water balloon on a table, or like a sack. And this artist, even though you know, the result is so easy on the eye and simple to look at, it's actually quite difficult to get something that feels so smooth and nice and yeah, like easy to look at. Okay. We can go in with maybe a draw sharp brush. And then if we wanted to, we could make a fold on the belly. But you see, it doesn't feel like it's high enough resolution for that. So we can go in and we can remesh. So 0.5. And just remember, as with all art, there's always going to be that stage of it where you're like, oh my god, this doesn't look like anything. What's going to happen with it? And you just got to keep going, basically. And you'll get somewhere. Okay, I think that belly fold really helped sort of sell the feeling of a sack. Okay. Okay, let's say we like that sack shape now. We can start adding, well, what are the next biggest things on the sculpture? This leg shape. And these ears probably. Okay, so let's just go for that. So we can start adding a sphere. We could do that. We could also duplicate this leg or this bean shape out. Maybe let's do that because that seems easier. I can rotate it around. Doesn't matter too much. You can also just simplify it. You can just scale it down and start from there. Doesn't matter, right? Because we're sculpting, so we can morph anything into anything else. We just need like a something to start sculpting on. Okay. You can add a sphere, you can add a cube, doesn't really matter too much. Okay, let's just say that. Then we go back into sculpting. So I'll remesh it. Because when you get those dense meshes with a lot of detail, it becomes a little bit more difficult to work with. So I like remeshing it. You can kind of see what that does. Oops, sculpting. Okay, and now we gotta pull it out into the right shape. How are people coming along? Are you able to like work on your thing? I don't expect anyone to be the same place that I am or something like that. I just want everybody to sort of be able to work and understand kind of what I'm doing. You know, you can always keep working after the stream is over too. Okay, so I see the whole leg is probably a little bit too big. So just move it in. Okay. Yeah, sure, let's go with that. Can work. Coming along, that's great. And you can go back into layout and you can start rotate stuff if you need to. We can add in some eyes, so let's just go for like a sphere. You can right click on it, shade smooth, move it up. Okay. Then we can try to go into sculpt mode and get that line on him. So if we start drawing, again, it'll be too low poly, right? Oops. So we gotta remesh it, same story. Okay, then we can smooth it out. I'll go in with the draw tool to make a sharp line. It's kind of important with these kind of things to like get the subtlety in there, you know. It's not just a line across. It's the kind of sleepy, you know, sort of. Oh, can I show the camera like that kind of shape, you know? Like a C shape a little bit. Okay. It's also important not to get stuck on something while you're sculpting. It's better to get like a rough version in there that needs refining, but at least it's sort of the right idea for it, and then you can come back to it. Okay. So I see now when I put the eyes in, and that will also help you, right? You'll kind of realize that, oh, maybe my shape for something is actually kind of off. So I see the back of my head. I like the way this feels. So. Okay, then I can go back in and readjust my eyes. Oops. Okay, now let's try to put in some ears to kind of give our brain some more reference to go off of. So we can just go ahead and like, we can just add a sphere. And you know, if we want to, we can always like replace the other eye. Of course, there are ways of mirroring stuff, but for this stream, I think we'll just keep it like super simple. So we can go into sculpt mode. Whoop. Can just like pull from both sides, push it in until we get like a flat shape. We can move it, just click G to move it. And you know, we're just having fun today, so you don't need to be like 100% on reference. Okay, sorry if you hear the noise in the back. I don't know what is going on outside that door. Okay. You can kind of get the features where you feel like they fit. If you want to go a little bit off reference, that's completely fine too. Sort of get a creature that you think you're a little bit happy with, that's okay. You can always adjust where those things are placed in the layout. Okay. It's looking fine for now. Kind of getting the main vibe of it all. Okay, from here we can work a little bit on the snout. So I'm just going between all the things, you know, I'm not getting really stuck on one piece. I'm kind of getting everything to play together, if that makes sense, right? If you get really stuck on one piece, then, well, you might make that piece really well, but then all of a sudden the rest of the sculpt doesn't really mesh that well together with it. Okay. Guess we can add some detail to this ear now. So we can go in and we can just add some basic kinda, so we can use the control here to take away. Okay. And we can add some more geometry to work with. 0.5. Okay, we can smooth it out. So control again to take away and kind of make the spiral in the ear. Then also be careful not to end up in a situation where you basically just draw on the mesh. You always want to make a volume, right? So here I just drew a spiral on it, but we don't, when we sculpt, it's kind of a dangerous move because it's gonna start feeling like very flat, you know, and sculpture is for that 3D feeling. So we gotta remember. So now we carved out a line here, and then we can use something like the flatten tool or like the clay build-up, for example, and we can go in and we can actually make this line into something that's not just a line. Okay, so we can take away here. We can maybe add here. You see how it goes from like a line to actually being a volume. Then you can smooth it out if you want to. Now I kind of get that. course, we're going a little bit off reference here. That's fine. Just playing with it right now. Go in, we can smooth that out. Cool. Is it coming along, people? Then we can copy this over. Go back into sculpting. Oops. Sculpting, and then we can work on it a little bit. How do you combine two objects? Okay, let's try it. So let me just copy this eye, put it over. Okay. Hold up, let me get ready for that first. So what I just did is I clicked S and then scale on the x-axis, so SX minus 1. Okay, and then you can flip it. Or you can just go to the scale and then put a minus in front of it on the x-axis. Then you'll flip it. So, boop. Oh, shit. Shoot. Okay, just gotta be careful now because your normals are technically flipped. Alright, so let's say we want to combine the head with the eyes, right? So how do we do that? Okay, we click both of them. So shift click one, so click, shift click another, and then click Control J. And now they're together as one object. So if we go into sculpting, we can start moving stuff together. And if we actually want to merge them, kind of like they are here, then we can just go ahead and we can remesh. Whoop, and now they're actually stuck together. Okay, and then we could go in. Yep, no worries. But you know, doing this is kind of, it can make it more difficult to work with, right? Because now all of a sudden, well, if you want to adjust the main head shape, you also gotta make sure that the eye goes with it and all that. So it is good to do, but you also gotta do it at the right time when you're ready for it. Okay, it's looking rather cute. Okay. Guess we can add some little toes on this guy. So go into sculpting. And we can remesh. Because when we gotta add the little feet, then we need more mesh to work with. Then we can go ahead and we can pull them out. cute little feet. Just doesn't need to be too detailed, right? Just like a little basic shape. Whoop. And then maybe we can use the inflate here. Let's try it. So it kind of just inflates the part that we're clicking on like a balloon, and that gives us something. Okay. Now it's starting to look like something, I think. So we can delete the other one. Control C, Control V, and then maybe we can do the same trick that we did with the ears. We can just scale it by minus the x-axis to flip it around. Sort of works. Then we're just gonna have to go in and adjust it a little bit if we need to. And then you could imagine if we're doing a like more efficient setup, we could align everything on an axis, and then we could just mirror everything while we're sculpting it. But we're not being smart about it today. We're just being simple about it. Now, for example, if we wanted to move the whole head here, we can box select all of it. So just B, left click and drag, or just left click and drag, I guess works too. And then you can move the whole thing if you wanted to feel a little bit more lazy. So we can push that even more if you want to. This is why it's nice to have it in pieces. You can sort of just move a piece without worrying about it messing up everything else. Okay. How about we try to add like a material to this little guy, huh? See what he actually looks like with some shine on him. So for the people that have been doing the texturing streams, you know all about this. And this is not like a necessity to follow along with the sculpting. It's just like a nice thing to have. But in 3D we have these things called materials. And those are what determines the look of our surface. So the material can have many factors in it, like how shiny something is or what color something is, if it's metallic or not, all those things. So I'll go in here, so we can click our head, go to the material tab. What's up, Augustin? How you doing? So yeah, we can go to the material tab here, click new, and now we have a material that we can play with. So we could make it a little bit gray if we wanted to. We could add roughness, and then we can go into the rendered view up here in the top right, and we can see what it looks like. So I'll just move the light over to the other side. Then we can make it not rough to get it shiny. There we go, and we kind of got that shine on them already. Yay. Okay. We can call this mouse material. Then if we want to, we can apply it to the rest of his parts. Okay. Let's get back to work though, so we can go back to the viewport shading. Let's try to add this tail now, shall we? So we could go to sculpting and just try to draw it on right away. See how that goes. Obviously it's not high res enough for that, so we gotta add some detail that we can work with, some more geometry. Now we can smooth out the body a little bit. Maybe we need to add some more, I think. Okay. Let me just save in case something happens. There we go. Now we can go in with a draw sharp brush and we can actually make this crease a little bit more defined if we want to. The more geometry you add, the harder it will be to sort of change those big shapes. See if we can add the tail now. Might be able to. Could be it would definitely be a good idea to do this as a curve and then mesh it together. But I think that's not really what we're doing on this stream, so I'll just try to draw it as best as I can. You know what, let's do that. Let's make a different, let's take a different approach just to show you kind of what you can do in 3D. So let's go ahead and make a sphere, right click, shade smooth, and then we can scale it down. See if this will work easier, it might not. We can drag this sphere around, sort of morph it. Okay, to get the tail shape that we want. So I'm just going in with a big grab tool and I keep moving it around. You can go ahead and remesh it when you stretch it enough, smooth it out. This way it becomes a bit easier to control the shape. You don't have to get like the brush stroke right the first time. And we can sort of lay that on the surface. You can imagine it might be really difficult to get that nice curve in like one brush stroke. So this allows you a little bit more flexibility. And you can go in with the inflate brush. You can add some thickness to one side and then you can hold control to take away some thickness to the other, on the other side. You can kind of control it that way. And then once we're ready, we can mesh those two together. And then you'll have this tail on the surface. Okay, you can go in, you can inflate it if you want to. And we should make it feel a little bit more like it's almost sitting on it. Okay, there we go. We got a little tail. Okay. How's it going with y'all? Are you able to get the kind of creature you're thinking about or imagining? Is there any progress? Let me know. How's it going? Are you having struggles? Are things going easy peasy? Almost done. Nice. Okay. I'm almost done as well. There have not been a lot of questions this time around. We can paint our little guy if we feel like it. Oops. So we can actually go in. So let me just real quick figure this out. So we picked the base color before, right, in the material section. If you want to paint on it in like a simple way with vertex painting, you can go in here and you can set the input. Instead of picking a color, you can set it to color attribute. Okay. So what that means is when we go into the mode called vertex paint, we can start painting our polygons. Okay. So we can get that gradient that's on here. But before that, let's just mesh everything together so we can get that nice look. So we can just take all these, Control J to combine them. Let's just take all of them and combine them, really. Control J. It's definitely a dangerous move. Wait, before I do that, you can't take everything and just like copy it real quick. Oops. Okay. So this is for myself. I just made a little copy here. Can join everything together, and then we can go into the sculpting tab. And then we can remesh it. So you basically merge everything together. Okay, we lost too much detail there. Do not like that. Okay, then we can go over the surface a little bit. Smooth all the rough edges out. Okay, now it basically looks stuck together. So this would have been really difficult to do from just one piece of clay. But because we did it in pieces and then meshed them together, we got like a really nice and easy result. Then you can just smooth the places where you feel like it should be more together. Some of the back of the ears maybe. You can even go in and you can layer some clay. That's nice, Christy. Sounds like you're enjoying it. I'm glad. So see here, we can layer some clay to kind of fuse that together a little bit. You can add some right here. So you see how that kind of worked? We started with the big shapes, separated them out, sculpted them, and now if we wanted to, we could really go in there and add all the detail in the world to our sculpture. Okay. So we can go in and we can start painting the guy. So we can go to vertex paint mode. We can start painting. Same here, that's nice. So I think his main body should be like a gray with a bluish hue. So we can just get that in there. Okay, maybe that became a little bit too saturated and not dark enough. Okay, it was a little bit more towards green. And you can go in with a white. Then you have some blur tools up here, some options. You can go in and see if you can get something to work with that. You can smear as well. Feels like a little bit too rough, right? to paint on it again. Okay, so let me show you. You're basically gonna be having a model that looks like something like this. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to go from the object mode up here. You can do this in any tab. You go to vertex paint. Okay, and now you can paint, but it won't show because the material we've told it together that it was supposed to be a color here. Okay, but we don't want it to just be a color. We want it to use the color attribute, which is what the vertex paint is called, right? And then you can go in and then you can paint. Hope that's making sense. And then you can set all the roughness here, you know, you can make it super shiny if you want to, or not at all. Did that work out? So object mode, go to vertex paint. And maybe we can even go in with a darker. Let's find something. Okay. Doesn't really look that nice. Let's see if we can work with it though. It's gonna be real fine. We can somehow smooth that out. Yeah, just getting a little bit of color in that crevice. Can kind of get just like a little bit of color in all these crevices. It'll help sell the look. Okay, now we can even go back to sculpting. And we can make a little eye thing here. See if we can't make it nice. I do not know why my mesh is doing this. That's very strange. Say that is very strange. Okay, I guess we're just not really allowed to do that. we can just paint it in a little bit instead. Now, even after the fact, everything is merged together. If we wanted to, we could go in with a big brush and make some large changes if we felt like it. So we'll pull everything around a little bit. I think that's about what we can do on the stream. Made a little porcelain sculpture. I think that's pretty damn cool. If you wanted to, you could plug in an HDRI and make it real nice and all that. But I won't be doing that for this stream. You can add some lights if you feel like it. My stream might be lagging because I'm rendering it out. We can quickly get something like that. Of course, you could keep working on this, right? Always. Whoop. We did forget the snout a little bit. Hold up, let me fix it. We can't go without it. Whoop. Can go in and fix the snout up. Give it a little one. Very cute. Yeah. It is a little bit cute. Thank you. Okay. Alright. And you know, I can keep working on this forever. Let's just call it for the stream about here. Let's say this was the result. Kind of a little mouse creature. I hope everybody got something that they think is kind of cool for their first time, you know. I think if you got anything that looks like a blob of clay and you had fun today, I think that would be a successful stream. Please print it the next time you use the 3D printer. Perhaps. Perhaps. I do think there are a lot of things that could use some improvement though. But there always is, you know, guys. You can always improve on your stuff. So I will be taking a screenshot of this and posting it on the Discord. And I hope you all will be doing the same of your thing. And remember, we're just a little community trying to learn stuff, so don't worry about it not being finished or looking a little goofy and all that. It's all part of it, and I think everybody enjoys looking at each other's stuff. So I would appreciate if you've been following along today to just take a little screenshot of what you have and post it. So you can use the snippet tool if you want to. I'll probably do that. Maybe a little bit of a different angle here. I don't know what's a good angle for this little weird guy. Maybe something like this, huh? Hold up, I'll open up the Discord and I'll check in here. So for the people, this is the channel we do it in. So 3D Bootcamp. Oh, there's spoilers. So 3D Bootcamp, go post it right there and I'll check it in a moment. Let me take a picture of my own thing as well. Okay, let's do a snippet. Whoop. Copy, and then I'll put it here and I'll say, here's the little creature we sculpted for today's sculpting bootcamp. Hope you all enjoyed. Whoop. Got a little fish today. Okay, let's look at the stuff. Okay, Katrin. Got a little hippo. Oh my god, this picture looks like something classic, like a 2008 internet era, like 3D stuff. I kinda like it. It's very cute. I like it. Nice shapes on it too. That's very nice. Good job. Bravo. Looks nice. Let's see his ZBrush. That's very nice. I think if you wanted to take this to the next level, hit it with a zero measure and you'll be good. Looks very nice. Good job, Katrin. Get a heart on both of them. Boop. Boop. Escape artist. Hold up. Let me check my stream here. Yeah, very cute hippo guy. Escape artist, nice. I'm glad you followed along. I hope you learned something. I wonder who this is in the chat. Maybe Christy or Ender, I'm not sure. One of you, perhaps. Or maybe it's a third person. Good job. Happy you followed along. I'll give you a heart. Itmations, super cute. Went ham with the poly painting, I like that. Good job to you too. Give yourself a clap on the back. That's beautiful. Happy to see it. Get a heart. It's very cute actually. I like the big head. And there's mine. It looks kind of funny. Well, it is what it is, everybody. We tried, we learned, and that's all today was about. Bio is escape artist. Okay, Bio, nice job. I'm glad you followed along. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, they are all adorable. Good job. It's very nice. I hope you all enjoyed. It's like the second time we did Blender sculpting. It's a little bit different from the ZBrush streams, but I hope you guys enjoyed them. We kind of get to play a little bit with color and a little bit with lights and that kind of stuff too. It was really great. I'm happy you enjoyed it. And yeah, let me know how the Blender stuff is, you know. We can always go back to ZBrush or something like that too. But I kind of enjoy all of this stuff too. The color and the lights and everything. Especially if people have been using Blender before, it's kind of fun. So I'll call that a night from me, guys. Oh yeah, about open house. Open house is happening tomorrow. If you guys are interested in the school that I go to, CADA, it's right there. See it on the stream. If you guys are interested in the school, we have an open house here and I'll be there. So tomorrow you can go check the CADA website and there'll be all the information about it. So you guys can come, chat to the students, chat to me, chat to the staff, hear about the school. If you're here in the Copenhagen area, I would recommend it if you're interested. Even if you're just interested in 3D art in general, it's just like a fun experience. So with that being said, I will close off the stream for tonight. I hope you all enjoyed. It was fun being with you all, and I hope I can help you guys for the next stream and see all of you there, because we're gonna be doing modeling next Wednesday, same place, same time. So see you all there. Bye bye, have a nice rest of your evening and all that.